What's good with y'all boys? It's your boy NQ Chosen, aka Chosen, aka Gray. I just want to come here and talk to y'all boys a little bit just about my first year of trading. I know a lot of y'all nowadays are trying to get into trading, see if it's worth it. And I've been trading for a little over a year now. I've gotten exactly one payout in a year, and it was a max payout. It's from Lucid. I'm gonna throw it up on the screen right now. I just kind of want to give y'all I kind of want to give y'all a little bit of advice as well as what you're really getting yourself into when you get into trading. Take it from somebody who's well on their journey into profitability. I am looking to get my second payout here soon. I'm documenting my journey here on this channel, so subscribe if you're trying to follow me along. But I am a ex college basketball player turned futures trader, I guess. I really have a real passion for this shit, man. I've always wanted to get into something like this since I was younger. I just never really did because I was always hooping. So it's like, should I go get shots up or should I learn how to do something like this? And now that I'm out of school and I can really put my time into pursue something like this, I decided to full force, try and learn. And I've been learning for over a year now. So kind of want to give y'all little bit of a reflection as well as some psychology tips and a little bit of advice for my newbies out there. First things first, you will lose a lot of money. My God, I lost so much money, bro. Once you get into something like this, you're going to think, okay, if I just know my strategy, I could just use the strategy and make a fuck ton of money. But it's not how that works. It's not how that works at all. I thought the same shit. I heard other people tell me over and over and over again, it's not how that works. It's 90% psychology. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. I was just putting money into evals, prop firm evaluations, and I was blowing accounts back to back to back. But the other thing is, if you don't have a grip on yourself, if you don't know who you are, if you don't know how you act without the distractions, without the dopamine hits, without all the externals, trading is going to show you who you are. It really is. Because if you're scared, if you're not really urgent in your life, if you if you're just like a passenger in your own life and you just watch things go by and you pass things by, you're going to be somebody who is scared to pull the trigger on entries in trading. You're going to question, you're going to second guess your entries. But if you're someone who is real straightforward, you get to it. You're gonna pull the trigger a lot on your entries. You might even enter before you need to, which can also lead to you getting stopped out, which can lead to you losing a little bit of money as well. Like it is all, man, like when they tell you it's pretty much just a psychological game, it's literally a game of big bank take little bank. So you need to be trading with the big bank so you're not getting taken with the little bank. And that's really all it is, bro. I promise you that's all it is. And I went through a good 11 months of just not really understanding that. And of course, I would have my rules, I'd have my system, I have good risk management. I have all those written down. I journal my trades. It wasn't like I was bullshitting the process. I was journaling everything. I have trade journals filled to the brim, like maxed out journals. And the one thing I couldn't get down was I never knew how to handle a loss. And that was the thing for me as an ex-athlete. I hate losing. I'm a sore loser. Like fuck. Like I fucking hate losing as a basketball player. It sucks. And coming into trading, I didn't really understand how big of an impact it would be on me to not know how to handle a loss, especially when you're losing real money and or even simulated fake money in the prop firm evals. I didn't know that. So whenever I take a loss, I wouldn't really know how to handle that loss. I would take it as an attack on my identity instead of data collection, instead of, okay, because this is a loss, I can use this as an opportunity to execute my rules for if I take a loss instead of I need to win on the day. This day needs to be a win, not only just to earn money, but for my self-esteem, for my ego. But it's not that at all. And it took me about a year to really understand that. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't have to be that way because I know a lot of people, that's a lot of people's problem is they don't know how to take losses. And if you know how to take a loss, which I learned, you need to shift the perspective of the loss instead of this is an attack on my identity. This needs to be, this is an opportunity for me to execute this part of my rule set. I have rules for if I win, I have rules for if I lose. And whether the trade wins or loses, I have this set of rules for if I lose. And now I'm just following these rules if I lose. And for me, the rules was if I lose, I take one more trade. And if I lose that one, I'm off the charts. No revenge trading, no FOMO trading. I need to either wait for another setup that presents itself in the same session, or if nothing presents itself, I get the fuck off the charts. I'm done for the day. I manage my risk so I didn't take that big of a loss, and I can come back tomorrow and be good. But a lot of times we over leverage that first loss. So it looks like, oh, damn, now if I follow my rules, I need to win like 3, 4, 5 days in a row just to get back to break even. Then I got to go hit the $3,000 profit target for this prop eval, and that's going to take too long. So I end up just over leveraging the second trade, and then I blow the whole account, whether it because I lose, because I'm not even in the right state of mind to go take another A plus setup in the same session, because I already screwed my decision making by over leveraging the first one. And you kind of see how that spiral goes on over and over and over and over and over again, just because we're so impatient. We want to reach these payouts so fast. We want to pass in 2 days. And yes, it's cool to pass in 2 days, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily worth it. You know, I know a lot of people say max leverage your first trade on the eval. You're not trying to spend years on the eval, but that is only for those who are already profitable. Those whose they know their system like the back of their hand. They know when to fade setups, when the highest probability of their setup comes about. They know the best market conditions to trade their setup. They know what times and what macros their setups are most likely to appear in. And they've seen it hundreds, if not thousands of times. Not somebody who just learned the strategy off YouTube a week ago, back tested it that next weekend, and then tried to use it to pass the eval the following week. They're not talking to you. And personally, I thought they was talking to me. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. I thought they was talking to me. They were not. And so you kind of see how that cycle kind of just loops and loops over and over. And that's kind of what I was in for the past year. And it wasn't until I shifted my perspective on how, because obviously when you're losing money and you're blowing these accounts, you want to seek out help. You want to go to YouTube, you want to look up the psychology videos, but it's not always about that. And yes, you could get all the help you can, but it's not until you shift your belief and your perspective on what you're doing wrong is when you'll actually change. Because if you don't believe that you need to change, if you don't believe that you need to do anything different, no amount of psychology videos on YouTube are going to help you. And for me personally, it was not knowing how to take a loss because I would over leverage the first trade and that would lead to a loss because I thought I was taking an A plus setup. And at the end of the day, I tracked it down. I'm looking at all my journals. I'm seeing I'm impatient. I'm FOMO trading. Like I'm hitting every single bad red flag that you have in trading. But at the end of the day, these losses came from skill issue. Like although I know the model, I've journaled it 100 times. A lot of the times it's me in my head too much before the trade actually happens, and I'll take it too early, and then I'll be the stop hunt, and then my price will go to my take profit. And once I realized that, and once I finally got comfortable being okay with, okay, if this happens and the trade goes without me, it's fine. It's okay. Once I was okay with that, the actual A plus setups started to present themselves. They actually became a lot more obvious to spot instead of me just, should I enter now? Should I enter now? Should I enter now? How many contracts should I put on? How much money am I going to make from it? Instead of being in that type of mindset, I shifted my perspective. I changed my belief in my system because getting spammed with process over outcome, system over outcome, don't think about the money. I understood that that was obviously the goal and mindset I needed to be in. How can I apply that to myself personally based on my own personal thinking? And for me, it was how to handle a loss and how to get the most out of my wins. How to be such a sniper, how to be patient because I was impatient as fuck. I ain't gonna lie. I'm an impatient little fucker now. How to be more patient. And a lot of that, it was just mindset shift. It was a perspective shift. And it really just came from understanding, okay, I didn't really have the best grasp on my strategy as I thought I did, because I understood that when I'm back testing, when I'm going back in price and I'm seeing my strategy play out, I have a 70 to 80% win rate, but in real time, it plummets to 40 to 35 to 30. Like I'm losing more than I should be winning when I have a high win rate strategy. So clearly, there's something in between there that's fucking me up, and it's my perspective going into the markets. My mindset going into the markets is skewed in a way that's not allowing me to be able to wait for these A plus setups to present themselves. And that was my issue until I really just stopped trading evals for a while. And I went to actually, I'm lying. The shift really happened when during an eval, I decided that no matter what happens, I'm not going to over leverage. I actually just said, fuck it. I'm going to just stick to my rules. I'm going to only risk two micros per trade and see how that goes, and try my best, because all I only took one trade a day, win or lose, and I only risked two micros. So no matter what, my losses were not super big, and no matter what I'm targeting, it was going to be 2 to 3 R. So I would make that back plus more if I were to win. That, bro, I ended up going on an 8-day losing streak. Eight days in a row. 8 days in a row. No wins. But I took one trade and I only traded two micros. And I ended up blowing the eval mechanically. Technically. I technically blew the eval. Straight off of no over leveraging, straight off of following my rules, I blew it. And that was probably the biggest eye-opening thing for me ever. Just because that really confirmed to me, okay, do I have a grasp on my technicals? Am I trading this strategy profitably? Is it just me? Or because I can't blame the strategy. I back tested it before. The strategy works. Is my eye on the technicals? Am I reading price action incorrectly? And that's when I had to do some self reflection. And that's when I had to go back in my journals. I had to journal even more. I had to rejournal, make sure I understood my strategy like the back of my hand. After I did so, I was able to come back. I was able to pass an eval around early April, and no, not early April, about mid-April. And during this the April's little bull run, I was able to get my first ever payout. And I'll throw that on the screen again. But I won 5 days in a row. I was able to take good trades, and I was able to step away when I needed to step away without revenge trading, FOMO trading, and I was able to actually execute when I needed to do so and be patient. So it was almost like validation. It was like, I understand, once you clear away all the bullshit holding your psychology back and you just sit there and trade, no matter what, you get off after the first one and you just try and be as objective as possible, you're going to reveal if you actually are doing shit correctly that you need to do once your emotions aren't involved. And once you realize that, and once you've studied that and you understand that, you're going to realize, okay, maybe it is just me. Maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was at executing the strategy and I need to do better, which ended up being the case for me. But I was too busy focused on chasing the money. You feel me? Like getting in this trade, trying to pass these accounts, trying to get these max payouts, too busy thinking about how much money I could make instead of doing what I needed to do in order to become better on the charts, better reading price action. Even though I thought I was, because I was journaling my trades, I was back testing damn near every day, like filling out journals, reviewing what is the best trade of the day. I was doing all that shit, but it wasn't like it wasn't I still wasn't where I needed to be. And I know that because I'm still so new. Market conditions change, and there's things that technicals and reading price action can't teach you. But it's not going to teach you that when you trade into a 4 hour fair value gap and you sweep liquidity, you might get another internal manipulation inside that gap before we reverse. Instead of, whereas you're in a 15, if you trade into a 15-minute gap, you want to see that sweep in liquidity and then a V shape and we go. We don't want to see that second manipulation leg. Like stuff like that, that isn't like a part of your strategy. That's something you need to learn discretionarily. And there's a couple other things like that where you need to recognize when market conditions change and how to recognize that in real time, which I wasn't necessarily good at because I was too busy focused on the money. And so when market conditions change, I was still trading as if they were perfect and I this should deliver. And I'm FOMOing into trades that were straight chop work, straight barcode price action, and it cost me a lot of money, bro. So it's definitely gonna teach you a lot of things. In my first year of trading, you really don't know what you think you know. I feel like this first year was all about understanding the mindset you need to be in order to actually be successful at this shit. Because it's definitely not something you can get rich with in a year. I mean, obviously, it sounds like straight cope because you're gonna see people. Oh, I was profitable in 8 months. I was profitable in 6 months. I was profitable in this amount of time. But as someone who's not paying for courses and is you learning strictly off YouTube and trying to take their time with this shit, you're gonna go through your ups and downs, bro. Once you see results, once you see that, okay, this is what happens when I follow my rules and I'm actually consistent with it over, a week. All it takes is a week. And then once you get that second week in there, you're actually good, bro. Like you're straight. Cuz you showed yourself you could do it for 14 days. Why can't you do it another 14 days? That's a month. And then at that point just do it for another 14 days and that's a month and a half. You know? But and that's kind of how you trick yourself into consistent profitability. And I didn't know that. I thought I just needed to learn the technicals and then motherfucking get to it, boy. I thought I was finna get to it. No, man, it's this shit is lonely as hell, bro. Like I'm not even gonna lie. I don't I don't I don't like to talk about this. Obviously I'm talking to y'all because y'all the audience. So I gotta get y'all right, but I gotta give y'all some real tips. But it's not something that I like to talk about with other people. It's not something I enjoy like bragging about. Especially ever since I got my first payout. It's not something I was like, yo, look at me, I'm quitting my job, I'm dropping my day ones. Nah, bro. Like it's not even like that because I understand the bigger picture. I understand that it's gonna be about long term consistency. It's gonna be about can I execute this over 1,000 trades without no. Can I execute over 1,000 trades while having good risk management and not over leveraging and being patient, which I'm still working on. It's really a lot, bro. It's really a lot. It's not something I'll take for granted either because it's something I love. I genuinely love this shit. Like I wouldn't be fucking sitting here recording a video for y'all. I wouldn't be filming my trade breakdowns. If y'all followed me on TikTok, like I wouldn't be walking and filming those videos and filming my skits. I wouldn't be doing that if I didn't love this shit, bro. Like obviously I love making content too, but it's genuinely something that I enjoy doing. It's something that I find purpose in. It's something that I can put my heart into that will change me into becoming the person and man that I want to become. Because inevitably, you're going to need to change your discipline. Because if you're not disciplined in your real life, you damn sure won't be disciplined in this. You're going to need to change your patience. If you're not patient in your real life, you can't LARP patience in real life and pretend to be patient on the charts. That's not how that works. This shit really molds you into the person that you need to be in order to be able to take money from the markets. And I feel like that's the biggest reason why they say 99% of traders lose money, 99% of traders quit, 99% of traders aren't profitable. And there's this big stigma around day trading just because people see it and they automatically think, oh yeah, you're gonna lose all your money. It's not stable, it's not all the it's not it's it's all the other bullshit. But a lot of it is because people don't understand that the people who quit are the people who didn't want to change to be the version of themselves who's able to extract money from the markets consistently through building the habits that you need to in order to do so. So I think that's the real deeper meaning of trading. It's really a spiritual game, to be honest, because if you don't align yourself, if you don't put yourself in the best position to be able to do this shit on a daily basis, then inevitably, of course, you're not going to be in that top 1% who makes money doing this shit. Of course not. If you're not, disciplined in your real life, if you're not patient in your real life, if you, if you're a sore loser in your real life, if you don't know how to take losses in your real life, if you don't know how to take wins in your real life, if you have a big ego in your real life, you're not going to be able to handle nothing on the charts because once it's you versus you and you're not distracted by all the dopamine hits and all that other bullshit, it's you really get exposed to who you really are. You really get exposed to the habits that you've created, that you've built for yourself, that you may not have even known, the shit that you've built subconsciously. So that's why it's so important to journal. You journal all your emotions because once you realize, like, damn, I really am, I can't follow my rules for shit. And you guys shows you're undisciplined. Damn, I fucking over leverage like fuck. That means you're financially irresponsible. Like this shit has taught me so much, not just about myself, but how to improve myself in in my life outside of trading. Like I'm investing my money now. I'm trying to find different assets to put it in. I'm trying to open a trust and put my assets in a trust and then take the let put it in a get a life insurance policy. I'm learning about all that shit, bro. Like it changes your perspective on life and it kind of shows you that okay, people who don't do this and don't understand this, they will never understand this because it's not something that anyone's going to be forced to do. A lot of people are simply just okay living their day-to-day lives, getting distracted by the dopamine hits over and over again without needing to actually change their life, change their inputs, change their habits in order to be the person that is able to consistently, if they're trading, extract money from the markets without being so emotional, without not following the rules. And a lot of times people's jobs, they just don't force them to be the best version of themselves, but trading, it definitely forces you to be the best version of yourself. And I heard a quote from, I want to end this off with this. I heard a quote from Shannon Sharp. He was on Club Shay Shay. He was interviewing somebody and he was talking about 9 to 5s, and he was talking about how not everyone is a winner. Not everyone is going to have a business that makes hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a year. Not everyone can do that because not everyone is going to be a winner. There's going to be people who are okay slaving away at the 9 to 5. They're okay. They're just okay with it, bro. Like some people just don't want to do that shit. Some people don't want to make themselves uncomfortable and put themselves in a position where they need to do some self-reflection and not only self-reflect, but actually change what they need to change in order to be better for the future. A lot of people just aren't going to do that shit. But for those who are going to be the ones, especially if they stick through it, are going to be the ones who actually get the most out of life. And personally, that's all I've ever wanted. Like, I ain't go cap. I ain't go cap. This shit, like, I always knew growing up I was gonna be a millionaire. Like, I was gonna be rich, but I didn't, of course, as a kid, I didn't understand that being rich means I need to be rich up here as well. I need to be rich with knowledge. I need to be rich in habits. I need to be rich in spirit. I need to be rich mentally, and that means as far as my health, as far as putting my priorities first instead of getting distracted by the outside world, by the dopamine hits, by the things I don't really need to worry about. It's basically all about sacrifice. And if trading is something that you don't mind turning into the best version of yourself for, then I would 100% recommend you do it, because not only are you going to change and become the person that you've always wanted to become, but you're going to be rewarded for it, which is quite literally the best thing that you could possibly get in this world. So I wanted it off there. My name is Gray, aka Chosen, aka NQ Chosen. I'm gonna be just dropping this. So I'm gonna be posting my trade reviews, my trade breakdowns. I'm gonna be giving y'all the whole journey, the updates. If y'all want to see any different type of content, if you want me to break down anything, if you want more talks, let me know in the comments, bro. I'm gonna start posting more to this channel. It was good talking to y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all. Tomorrow. Peace.